which I used to handle and lead from a strategy front. Then moved to Miram, worked closely with JWT because I was always fascinated with creativity. Considering I'd always been a stage performer during Mindshare, Mahita, I'm sure, can vouch for it. But from Miram, JWT moved to ITC. That's where there was a little interaction with Mega as well in between. And I thought ITC was a great stint for me personally from a creative window. Then for 3 years over there, and then I've moved back to Bay, moved to Mumbai, and right now based out of Mumbai. So that's a small, quick nutshell of my journey so far. Let me quickly just project something from a bingo angle. I thought it would be relevant considering. Just a minute. I hope you guys can see the screen. Can someone just kind of give a shout out if the screen is visible?
Yeah. Yes, it is.
Perfect. So, guys, while I thought we should keep it more execution driven, because I always feel that from an advertising front, we go, sorry to use the word, but there's a lot of intellectual manthan, right? We do a lot of intellectual thinking across be it advertising or be it brand side. Frankly, as an individual and as a person who's leading a team, I always believe that the game lies in 80% execution, 20% thinking, because eventually what you see is what you believe is what you do. When Mega told me about GenZ, I thought bingo would be a great example. I'm sure awareness of bingo is really high. People do know about bingo, operating in the snacks category, very youth-centered. Humorous is the tone, and entertaining, exciting. That's the brand world of bingo. And it's known for its uniqueness, both from the boing sound mnemonic, which it has always used since 2010 in its communication, to kind of increasing that madness quotient. Now, while this specific problem which you're facing around is for the potato chips category. Now, potato chips category, if you look at bingo, operates in a lot of different segments, bridged, namkeen, and potato chips as well. Now, bingo potato chips, if you look at the sales were kind of decreasing, and the potato chips category as a overall was found to be very boring and monotonous. That's what the research insights were kind of from the insights also came across. Competition also was not too heavy on the potato front. Now, the challenge, of course, for all of us as a team together was how do we infuse fun, of course, using the brand codes of bingo among our TG. Now, the challenge is really clear. The problem is really highlighted, and GenZs, if you look at from an insights window, you really don't have any singular insights for GenZ, right? Considering there's so much hyperactive, they are impatient on the digital screen. So how do we kind of tackle this problem? It's a very classic example of marketing. How do we infuse and solve for this marketing problem in a very fun and exciting way? Hope you guys are on the same page. You guys can see and kind of feel the problem at hand. You guys are there?
Yep.
Perfect. Now, challenge is clear, problem is clear. How do we work it out? We realized through research that being funny or being operating in a fun category is a very serious business, right? Because slapstick isn't good enough anymore. Humor is more a great way to carry a message, and humor needs to make you stop and think. While the TG isn't afraid to laugh at things around and at themselves, and that's a big thing, right? We realize that the TG today makes fun of themselves and they laugh at it, right? Gone are the days where they laugh at others, they laugh at themselves as well, right? And it's good because mind fresh is not always equal to mindless. That's a very key statement for us. While that's the business we operate, which is a serious business, we onboarded Ranveer Singh. That was the time Ranveer Singh was onboarded. Ranveer Singh is equal to madness in whatever things and ways he works out, right? In terms of choice of films, in terms of character portrait, in terms of offline, online. He is a total mad dhamaka, right? And what we wanted to capture is that, number one, keeping the laughter codes of bingo. We wanted to talk about the differentiating factor, which is quality. Because if you look at the potatoes from which bingo chips are made, these are kind of brought from agri-business of ITC. So you talk about the good quality, right? And if you want to harp on good quality, we realize isko agar Hindi mein translate kare, it's called achhe aloo. And the moment as a team together, we realize achhe aloo, we realize can we create a character called Achha Aloo. Now, before I run through, the problem is that how do we work it out? Should we invest into a brand or should we invest into a character? If you look at a character like Fido Dido, there were 8 saal lage the for a character like Fido Dido, from conceptualization to execution, 8 years. Character building is a humongous task, because normally characters are remembered, brands get forgotten. How do we work this out? We were very clear, we need to build a character and harp on the character building using the parent brand imagery of Bingo. Now, just a minute, let me project again and add the sound on quickly. Yes, hope you can see the screen, guys.
Yes.
Screen is visible. Perfect. Let me just quickly done. Let me just quickly play this video.
कहाँ मिलेगा अच्छा आलू? आइडिया।
Sorry, I'm just admitted someone. Sorry.
चलो भागो, गंदे आलू, चोट तो नहीं लगी ना? तुम्हारा बैग
मिल गया अच्छा आलू। खोज खोज के लाते हैं बिंगो के लिए अच्छे आलू, जिससे मिले आपको लाजवाब टेस्ट। बिंगो पोटैटो चिप्स अच्छे आलू से बना from ITC।
Got it. So you talked about good potato. Hope the video was clear. Was it clear?
Yeah. I think not of
Perfect.
emoticons are coming.
Perfect. So if you look at the brand language, those palette designs, very loud, right? Because Bingo is all about loud. Bingo as a voice is very loud. It's a similar to Kurkure if you look at it, very loud, but it's very youth. Kurkure is very family loud. This is very youth loud. So you want to keep it very loud, right? Using the loudness of releasing intact. Now, while this was kind of worked out, we realized, yes, a film is at hand. But what do we do? How do we then build the next step? So we realized music is the highest reach, almost 87% reach among TG. And we realized that rap form was really the form to go after from a form factor, because when we sing and Apna Time Aayega, the entire kind of rap song, Gully Arena was the area to go after. So what we quickly worked out was a rap song, and let me just play this out.
Aloo, le lo.
I love potato।
चालू क्या?
चालू देना।
Tell me brother, अच्छा आलू किधर? किधर है भाई? Tell me brother, अच्छा आलू किधर? मिला क्या? Tell me brother, अच्छा आलू किधर? ढूंढते ना। Tell me brother, अच्छा आलू किधर? चल सर्च चालू एक अच्छे आलू की, जो बिना ढूंढे मैं रुकूंगा ना भाई। नजर डालू एक ऐसे आलू पे, अच्छा बन के थोड़ा इज्जत कमाए। बुरा काम करे बुरा वही है, तभी तो तू आलू को छुरा नहीं है। कैलोरी नहीं कैरेक्टर की ये बात है, सही पटाटा तू ढूंढना नहीं है। मेरे से सीख किया नहीं चीट, ढूंढा मैं बेस्ट नेक्स्ट डे रिपीट। जब तक ना मिली तो बॉम्बे से दिल्ली घुमा मैं वो चिल्ली और पाव में आलू तो लाओ। बिंगो भाव व्हाट वाओ व्हाट आर कमिंग इन माय माउथ। बिंगो भाव व्हाट वाओ व्हाट आर कमिंग इन माय टेल मी ब्रदर अच्छा आलू।
So yeah, I'll just keep it short. I hope this was kind of clear to you guys from a music front. You guys are there?
Yes.
Yep.
Perfect. So, chalo rap, right? And we realize it works really well because youth, music, form factor, perfect. So what next? Also, just to give you guys heads up, I love writing. I've almost composed 15 songs, brand songs. So contributed to this song as well from a lyrics writing. But yes, tell me whether acha aloo kidhar. It always kind of it's there on your tongue. So yeah, it worked really well from a delivery window. Having said that, what next should we do? And let me also talk to you. This entire campaign is for a year. Brand campaigns for a year seldom happens. This entire campaign is happening for a year. So brand film, music, rap song, and we realize stories and art is the highest form factor on Instagram. And how do we then drive engagement? Because we worked on the reach, but how do we work on the engagement part using Bingo Achalu as a central character? What we did next is we created Bingo 52 weeks, 52 stories. Because every week there is one story, and we realized that on Instagram, we have a lot of so-called artists who say someone like Alicia or someone like Bombay Doodler. All of these are people who are growing up. And youth loves to follow them for their art and for their design language. So what we did is every week, this Achalu used to get into the stories. So for example, Achalu talking about social norms, Achalu talking about going to granny during summer's holiday, Achalu Diwali, acha aloo, going to a mart to buy veggies, and so on and so forth. So every week there's one story, and acha aloo gets getting integrated into that story using that design language of, say, Alicia or say a Bombay Tootler. Sorry, someone raised hand. Megha, you raised your hand, sorry?
I was giving a reaction by chance. The hand was raised.
Okay,
Sorry.
okay, not a worry. So 52 weeks, 52 story. Of course, it also allowed us to get earned media because it was an influencer activity, but for a year. So over the time, we realized that people also organically started putting out their own stories, getting inspired. So if you look at, this is just a kind of collage of the story, but let me give you an example of, say, episode 9, what Acha Alu's love life spice up. So where is Acha Alu, a girl goes to buy on Valentine's Day, वो एक इमली नीचे गिरा देती है, अच्छा आलू दौड़ते हुए इमली को बचाता है बिल्कुल हीरो की तरह, and there is love in the air with अच्छा आलू falling in love. So contextual during certain festivals and occasions, but yeah, these are 52 episodes going live only on Instagram. So this is something which we worked out, appealing to the Gen Zs and the youth from Bingo around art and craft or art as a language. We realized that the craze was picking up, and at the end of the year, we realized, what do we do next? We realized, let's go much more closer to the youth. Let's create exclusive Bingo Acha Alu merchandise. And what we did is we created shirts, we created mugs, we created mouse pads, we created coasters, etc. And we had a tie-up with a couple of third parties exclusively on which these merchandise could be sold. And value-wise, again, proud to say that we clogged certain revenue as well from this. But again, we were very clear that, of course, the revenue has to be worked out in a more stringent way because we are in foods, we are not into the business of selling clothes. But this was just to drive craze around Acha Alu as a character. So merchandise we bik rahi thi for Bingo. Having said that, we realized during our journey, we need to kind of keep that tactical interventions also on. So Acha Alu filter was created just to experiment and see, because gaming was picking up. And also there was a rich media interventions, which is M-Canvas ads. For the sake of saving time, I'll not play this, but rich media ads were also created using M-Canvas, so that when people is kind of browsing through, there's an unexpected discovery of these rich ads talking about Acha Alu and its uniqueness. Now, having said that, we realized that's good, but there are also moment marketing, which is a heavy thing right now on digital. So we picked up spaces such as Bollywood, fashion, sports, occasions, festives, and gaming. We were very clear: no politics, no religion, no sex to be addressed, because you need to be very careful with moment marketing. It's a hard trick. So define those areas, but go really heavy using the character of Acha Alu. So almost 220 creatives were made in a year around different occasions, different moments, different fluid and fixed moments using Acha Alu as a character. We also realized that there has to be synergies. So on e-commerce also, if you look at, creators are put out around Acha Alu, so that there's synergy to communications, and people on social as well as people on e-commerce can kind of, there can be a synergy in terms of streamlined movement and recall values. Having said that, entire 360-degree plan on digital, with the branded film working as a reach builder, music rap as a YouTube reach builder, 52-week stories as engagement, AR filter for engagement, merchandise to drive craze. And team, this was done entirely during COVID. The only challenges we realized is we wanted to make it much more bigger with tie-ups in College Fest, associations with Comic-Cons, tie-up with Soul Stores, look at certain other youth channels, also create limited edition packs. But COVID was a big bottleneck from a logistics and from a execution window in a way. But this was the campaign. Last slide talks about a nutshell in terms of how it delivered. Of course, we did everything possible. If you look at, I've kind of already highlighted that the social mentions were always on, positive associations. Potato chips were also being talked about. We clocked almost 30,000 plus engagement. Sales increased eventually because you're looking at social matrices, brand matrices, but business metrics also. 13% sales increased as well. Impressions were almost crossing 300 million last. So this was a story of Acha Alu. 3 learnings: focus on execution, less on ideation. Of course, ideation, I'm sure that if the idea is strong enough, go after it. You should pursue that idea. You should be relentless about your idea and not seek validation. I think that's a classic example where we all kind of fall into by looking for validation. And third is you need to be a hybrid individual, a mix of media and creative, because in the today's day and age, even I come with a background which is media strategic, but I've realized over the period of time that if you have creativity with you, if you have data plus research and plus creativity, I'm sure it's a fatal combination, especially in the brand side, because you offer a lot in terms of value. So yeah, this is a quick run through of Acha Alu campaign. I hope you guys enjoyed it as much as we did while working on this campaign as a team together.
We're open to questions, guys. If you have any
Yes.
questions, we have 10 minutes now, so we can ask questions.
Yes, happy to hear any questions. Yes. Should I go to the chat, Megha, or the person can kind of
They'll come up and ask questions. Yeah, Rajat, please go ahead.
Hi, am I audible?
Yes.
Yes, you are. Yes.
Okay. Shetanshu, firstly, thanks for like an awesome walkthrough of the whole campaign. Quick question, right? You mentioned there was one guide rail, and that's the theme of content that you guys omitted from including in your campaign, which would or which could possibly draw flag because it's moment marketing, right? So, along with a thematic guide rail, are there other guide rails that are to be followed when it comes to moment marketing? Because I mean, we're in 2023. If there's any flag that's drawn to any of our campaigns, it sort of it has a very quick snowballing effect. So, what are the guide rails beyond themes that are to be followed as best practices?
Got it. No, it's a great question, Rajat. Rajat, right?
Yes.
Rajat, great
Rajat,
question,
yeah.
Rajat. I'll tell you, Rajat, quickly about, and this is an area which I thought is a really interesting area to kind of go after. When I was hired at ITC, my responsibility was to lead moment marketing for all the ITC food brands. So you understand the challenges, right? Because as a person who loves marketing, I would love to run after everything, but you would realize that one small mistake and you're gone, right? You're completely trolled, and people will smack you left, right, center. Having said that, what we realize as a team together as learning practice is three things. Number one, don't get inspired that you have to do it for a checklist. If you want to do moment marketing, go first. You have to beat Zomato and Swiggy and Dunzo. Sorry, I'm using these three brands because these brands are iconic and worshipped for moment marketing, and they have to because these are iconic brands in moment marketing. So I used to be very clear that, and I used to tell the agencies that, boss, if there's a trend which you have capitalized through listening or through a spark, the creative has to be done in 2 hours. So forget on design language. Don't work on design language. Go after copywriting. The creative has to be beautiful from a copywriting or humorous from a bingo front. So of course, keeping the copy intact, you need to be smart. Don't focus too much on design. Go after copy. Make certain templates which may be helpful for you if need be. But if you're making a design, because design, making, animation, all these things will take at least 5, 7, 8 hours, right? And these moment marketing spurs remain for a certain amount of time and then they die out. That's number one. So agility was important. Number second is don't do it for namesake or checklist. That हमने कर दिया तो pat on the back. That doesn't work. Internally it works, but externally it's a failure. The third thing is that define guardrails. We realized don't get into politics. You get slammed for it because you become opinionated. Don't go after sexual remarks because that seems very stereotypical and very what do I say, very blatantly funny to some people, but it hurts the sentiment. And don't talk about religion. Don't go after Hindu or Muslim or Christian jokes because that doesn't work. Well, it may work for some people. So we used to define those guardrails. Of course, there used to be certain guardrails specific to brands as well, Rajat. Say bingo. So we need to we had defined those brand spaces that they are the brand spaces we'll go after. But agility was important. Copywriting skills were important. Design language took a compromise. And third was all about defining those guardrails of politics, religion, sex, and other do's and don'ts. But yeah, in a nutshell, these were the things, Rajat, which we used to be cognizant of for moment marketing. I hope I answered that.
Got it. Awesome. Yes, really insightful. Thanks, Shetanshu.
Yeah.
Yeah, Pooja. Pooja, Tejvi, you might ask your questions.
Yeah.
Yes, thanks, Megha. Hi, Shetanshu. I was actually going through your LinkedIn profile. I was stalking you there, and I went through something called as Beats of Conviviality, which was on World Music Day. So I was curious as to how you guys came to this, and how did you co-create? I mean, celebrating the true spirit of music and all of that. So how did that help the brand, and what was the campaign all about?
Yes. So look, music has always been close to me, as I told you. And things which are always close to you always push for that agenda. Not the selfish motives, but again, those are things of your personal interest. I've always felt that music works well, cuts across religion, cuts across genres, and hits you emotionally. World Music Day was coming up, and we realized that at Pernod India, we call ourselves as creators of conviviality. That's the tagline, that's the signature sign off. Conviviality is a very strong word. Half of the people don't understand the meaning of conviviality. Conviviality means celebration which is contained, not over the top drinking celebrations. It is a contained celebration, right? People coming together, talking to each other, unlocking the magic of human connections. Because the more you talk, the more you do conversations, the more exciting world seems to be. Because you share your story, I share my story. World Music Day, we realized that can we actually bring people together? And what we did is we tied up with Javed Ali as an artist. We asked him to take dhun chedo up, and same dhun ke, we asked employees as well to start making their own musical versions, playing different instruments. Almost 140 plus instruments people played across, right from a tanpura to a piano to a guitar to a sitar, right? And we then created a second version, which is a tune which was synonymous to similar to the one which Javed Ali created, but amalgamation of all. So all the beats coming together, and we called it as a beats of conviviality. What it delivered, frankly, I think it was purely to make sure that enough people are excited within, because it's a what do I say? It's an internal engagement, and we realized we should hit that sweet spot. So it was purely to make sure that people participate. Getting almost 120 plus musical instruments was a harmony to hear, but I thought it played out really well. The entire campaign, by the way, guys, you'll be surprised, was done in 5 lakhs. Entire campaign in 5 lakhs. So we try to make sure as a team together that we're not spending too heavy. If you're spending too heavy, do campaigns like Achalu, where you're spending too much to do national level impact. At local level, at local tactical interventions, we make sure that we are driving enough and more such initiatives with beats of conviviality, colors of conviviality, I don't know, XYZ of conviviality, but that's to play on conviviality within Pernod India from an employee engagement cut perspective. So either go national, go big, or you play tactically really small with employee engagements with these so-called little tactical bursts. So that's about beats of conviviality. I hope I answered.
Yes, Shetanshu, thank you so much. That's beautiful.
Yeah.
Yeah, Tejvi.
Yeah. Hello, Shetanshu. Good evening. First of all, thank you so much for taking us through the lovely and engaging slides. So my question to you regarding this campaign was how was the engagement on the gaming front of the campaign? And according to you, like post campaign, what improvements you think would have made the campaign more engaging for the users or the consumers? Yeah.
So on the gaming front, Tejveer, because we were experimenting with Bingo. Bingo, by the way, has never got into gaming, and that's an irony. Because if you look at a brand like Yippee, which is from Sunfeast, they are
Yeah.
really heavy in gaming. So in वहाँ पे what we do is we partner with gaming leagues, etc. Right? So Yippee is meant to target of between 10 to 15 years, right? Which is the
Hmm.
core video gaming, right? Which is the gamers. Bingo
Right.
doesn't talk to the gamers. Bingo talks to someone who is slightly more mature. College goers, first job, college goers, someone who's doing MBA, last year engineering, that kind of a TG. तब तक क्या होता है ना गेमिंग का कीड़ा हो चुका होता है इंसान में, right? Either you create one of its own kind game. So if you look at the beauty of this campaign, right, we were very clear with what we wanted to achieve, but we were never fixated. So 52 weeks was fixated, rap song was fixated, we wanted to experiment with this gaming thing, which is on AR filter, because it was picking up.
Okay.
And I'm talking about the COVID times, right? Always a challenge for all of us creatively or from a strategic front.
Correct.
If I have to give you numbers wise, almost 2.5 lakh people played the game
Okay.
for the AR filter, which frankly I felt was slightly disappointing because I think we had gone too far into the campaign in terms of rap, music,
Yeah.
art, and unfortunately that was a time for me also making a move out, right? I would have loved to create limited edition packs. I would have loved to see the campaign still fly. The campaign is dead, and so is Achalu. I feel I feel sorry for Achalu, but I thought, and that's just a thought because you can think after you're left. I do feel that this could have been the next Fido Dido if the
Correct.
team would have religiously worked on this Achalu. But that's an organization or the brand's call at the end of the day. We could have done so much. So Comic Con opening up, games platforms opening up, etc. But that's a call from the brand. But to answer your query, we were experimenting, Tejveer. Hence, we did not invest much into this. We wanted to kind of check and see how it works. It worked well in the budgets we had, but and it was not meant to be not meant to kind of target the gaming genre in a way completely. We were kind of experimenting, Tejveer.
Got it. Got it. Thank you so much. Thank you.
Yeah.
Yeah, Anil.
Hi, Shetanshu. Thanks for the session. As there is a fierce competition in snack related category, any key e-commerce or quick commerce strategy that you adopted that work really well for you?
Yeah. No, so I'll tell you what happens normally in quick commerce. It's a low ticket volume products, right? Which is bingo chips. कितने 10 रुपए के आते हैं, right? 10 रुपए का पैक, 12 रुपए का पैक आता है. So there's a cost angle to it. It's unlike an Ashirwad atta, which hops on say 260 rupees, 5 kg, etc. Right, starting price. So the ticket price is really small, right? So what we normally used to do is we used to play on a pack of 4. So if you look at the creatives also, we used to say, buy 4, get 1 free, etc. Bundling works really well on quick commerce. Unfortunately for snacks products, it's always a challenge to push volume. Having said that, we used to make sure that there are exclusive launches happening only on digital. Also, we used to make sure that there is a thing of, for example, just giving a thought. For example, Sunfeast Farmlight, which normally talks to the healthy Gen Zs, right? People who are searching for healthy tea, they would be kind of bundled and shown healthy tea and healthy biscuits. Having said that, snacks as a category for chips category, the sales happening on e-commerce is slightly low. And we don't intend to, because again, it's very distribution driven physically, right? Because if I go to an outlet and see it, let me buy bingo. Online, for me to make sure that someone buys only bingo, it's a dead challenge. So we used to make sure that there are offers going, discounts going, bundled offers going, and your party pack happening, right? Which is larger volume packs. We also launched party pack during COVID. After again the COVID was kind of growing dead, we realized we should do party packs, etc., which is larger packs, more volume of chips, but at a lower price. But that's how it operates in the snacks category, Anil, if I've answered your query.
Thank you. Thanks so much.
You had a question?
Yes, Megha. Hi, Shetanshu. Thank you for the session. So in continuation to the Anil's question, so when it comes to quick commerce, right? When it's my personal experience. So whenever we use platforms like Blinkit and things like that, and there is a criteria for free delivery or something like that above orders of 400 or something. So during checkout, there are so many products that are priced like 10-20 rupees. And is there any strategy that Bingo has taken up to captivate on this particular moment, so that during the checkout, since it's a low ticket value product, like Bingo being 10, 20, 30, 40 rupees. So,
sorry, please go ahead, please.
Yeah, to in order to push customers to get that free delivery or be eligible for a particular offer, is there any strategy that Bingo takes into account, or any other snack brand?
So, Sai, I'll tell you again, learnings from our own D2C platform, ITC store, which was opened up, right, which still is running. Look, I'll tell you, quick commerce or be it your own platforms. The only thing is that we used to have something called, if your ticket volume purchase is going up above 1500 or 1200, you can buy one product at rupees 1. So there used to be options, right? You can't just push for bingo because look, you also need to kind of make sure that there are running products being purchased as well. So you used to give them a snapshot saying, these are the products. Of course, bingo used to be there, but we used to give them slight bit of more value, right? For example, dark fantasy at rupees 1 or bingo larger pack at rupees 1. So you buy products worth 1200 at the checkout. You can buy one product at rupees 1. You can buy two products for rupees 2 if you're going above 1500. So we used to make sure that how much is the economics working for us as well. That used to work, of course. Also, there used to be bundled packs happening during festives. So, for example, during Republic Day, or for that matter, during Holi, we can club all the different colors of bingo and give it at a discounted rate. That used to work well again because it goes well with the context of Holi colors, kind of plays really well. So either you could play on the discounts or you could play on checkout time, buy one, get one, except buy one at rupees 1. That used to work really well. But having said that, Sai, the only caveat we felt is the challenge is it's a low cost product. So you're off the e-com shell, the kind of product going out, the propensity will be low. So you need to make sure that consumer is nudged enough either at the checkout or with offers or with bundled schemes to add to his cart. Because you will not think twice before adding it to his cart, but he needs to buy enough kind of cost ticket to make sure that he's adding it to his cart. He'll not add it first. I'll not go to e-commerce just to buy bingo. Right? So we used to make sure that at the end of the month you're trying to lure someone, salary aa gayi, le lo. Start of the month, Ashirwad aata hai, le lo. Right? So your first driver would always be Ashirwad because that's a high volume, high value product. But we used to make sure that you're giving enough nudge at the checkout, as you said, with certain offers. And this used to work really well, right? Have a cap 1200 ke upar ya 1300 ke upar, buy one. You can add one to your kitty at rupees 1. 1500 ke upar, two at 2. That used to work well. Wahan pe we used to see from our own data that people are adding bingo to it, but they're not adding it as a priority. They're adding it only as a offer based, value based, right? From offer window. That's the challenge with low cost products in terms of costing. But having said that, I feel that's uniform across. It cuts across as well, Sai. I hope I've answered that.
Had a question?
Yeah, Mika, I have a question. Shetanshu, I have a basic query. Like when we have a sharp positioning for a certain age cohort, how do you deal with the risk of turning off or letting go of consumers who fall out of this particular age cohort? Like for example, we are targeting for Gen Z over here. Some of the characteristics of Gen Z is a turn off for other age cohorts who might also be your consumers. How do you deal with that?
No, true. So look, when if you look at the way we had operated, we were very clear that all of these, if you look at, is not very sharply targeted. So if you look at a campaign like Bingo Acha Alu, because you're trying to infuse excitement into the category, we have never gone too what do I say, too fine targeted during with psychographics, with behavioral cohorts, right? We were very clear that we are going to target slightly more open-ended so that you reach to a larger audience. Because your challenge is your sales are dipping and your category mein fun missing hai, right? I'm talking about Acha Alu. But having said that, if you look at how it operates normally when we go very finer targeted is we try to make sure that we are using certain tools wherein the creative is slightly getting more automated in a way. Because look, there's only so much so you can create from a automation, from a creative window manually. So, and there are tools available as well, wherein you feed in certain comps pieces, you feed in certain cohorts, right? And the creative works out in a jiffy, aligned to target specific people. It's a DMP, or creating entire data management platform as well, right? So, and we used to do it. I'm sure Mega was involved as well. But it's a process in itself. Wahan pe you're looking at clicks, performance, attrition rate, pura measure karo end to end. Wahan pe your creativity takes a bit of a backseat. Having said that,
Yeah.
for a campaign like Bingo Acha Alu, we were very clear that it's slightly more open-ended. You target cohorts. You're not go getting to the comms piece, because your comms communication lines, etc., is not very sharply aligned to your behavioral or psychographic traits. Hence, if you look at very performance-based creatives normally work well. But if you look at normally more emotional, more brand building driven, they slightly are still driven towards more manual thinking, more intellectual thinking, more creative thinking. And that's again a challenge which I'm sure all the digital veterans are kind of still kind of working out. How do we kind of navigate this to fine-tune creative balance of creativity with manual
Yeah.
with tools as well? But that's a challenge, Shruti, in a way.
Yeah. Thank you for that, Shetanshu.
Yeah.
Great. I think we are 10 minutes ahead. Thank you so much, Shetanshu, for doing this. I think we've taken 10 more minutes. So thank you so much for answering all the questions. And
I appreciate that. I appreciate
thank
that,
you so
Megha,
much.
yes, and I appreciate everyone coming on a Monday as well. Hope the week goes well for all of us, and let's stay in touch, Megha, and the larger team as well. Happy to kind of stay in touch as well.
Great, great. Thank you so much, everybody, for joining in. Thanks a lot.
Bye.
Thanks,
Thank you.
Shetanshu.
Thank you, guys. Bye. Thank you.